Hey there, welcome to the Gyro Step, a Milwaukee Bucks podcast, proudly a part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network and GSPN. I am one of your hosts, Ty Windisch, joined as always by my lovely compatriot, Rohan Katti. Rohan, happy Monday after a long holiday weekend, my good man. How you holding up?
Doing well. I hope everyone enjoyed their long weekend and stayed safe, didn't no
Yeah,
hands blew up or anything.
yeah,
It always happens.
yeah.
Just like just be reasonable and be smart about it. Well, hopefully nothing bad happened. But it was good. It was relaxing. I thought we were going to start to slow down with some Bucks news, but then we got hit with some Bucks news, and I thought we were just going to, like preview some summer league, do some things like that. But here we are with the Milwaukee Bucks having a big new signing that we are ready to talk about. So I'm doing really well, Ty.
Good. Yeah, it was a heart-pounding, exciting moment. Just like PrizePicks is, make sure to check out our friends at PrizePicks, proud sponsor of the Gyro Step, where you can use code GYROSTEP to get $50 the first time you play a $5 lineup, whether you win or lose. A hot take before we get into the pod. This has been the summer of the nectarine for me so far. Might be the most underrated
Ooh,
fruit. Could
ooh.
not tell you the last time I had a nectarine. The wife brings home nectarines. I'm like, oh, sure, I'll have a nectarine. Oh my God. An explosion of
Okay.
flavor. I'm addicted to
You know what's
nectarines.
crazy? I don't remember the last time I had nectarine. Maybe I'm just missing out.
Go get yourself a nectarine. They must be in season right now because there was like three different kinds at the local pick and save, and I think I grabbed the yellow ones, and it's just like they're messy as hell. That's the downside. It's like the ribs of the fruit world, but my God, are they good?
Okay, okay. I like trying new fruits. I mean, it's not a new fruit. I've had it before, but I guess I've never had it. I haven't had it in a while.
I don't know if they changed them or what's going on, or maybe I
Change the
just
recipe.
yeah I don't know. Well, with the GMOs these days, who knows? Maybe I'm having 50% cotton candy, 50% fruit. All I know is the nectarines I've been consuming are top notch. Speaking of top notch, the Bucks got a great two-way guard back on the team after nervy couple of days. Ryan Rollins coming back on a 3-year, roughly $12 million contract. And of course, John Horst was the one who gave this out. So there is a player option on the third year of this thing, which kind of makes sense because it did sound like there was some interest in Rollins year wide. I believe it was Hoops Hype had like a list of 7 teams. And when I saw that, I was like, uh-oh, Bucks seem to be prioritizing maybe a little Chris Paul, maybe a little Brad Beal. We'll talk more about the big names they're chasing later on in the show because maybe one of those guys will sign somewhere as we record. You never know. Technically, Beal has not even been bought out yet, but I digress. But Rollins is back, and I do think I was seeing some angst, and I think deserved angst from Bucks fans online about like, oh, they're gonna let this guy go, whereas he might be like a breakout player candidate. And I agree. I mean, everyone who's listened to us for the whole year knows we're big Rollins guys, and I do think even if they sign one of these more offensively inclined other guards, this guy kind of fits with everyone on the roster, and just having him back, especially on 4 mil per year, it's just a huge win for them. I was like very excited. I was actually worried he was going to sign somewhere else. Huge win for Milwaukee.
Massive, massive win for Milwaukee. One, just from a talent perspective, you're keeping talent.
Yeah.
This guy, I don't know why. It didn't click for me until literally today that he's younger than Andre Jackson Jr.
Yeah, is he
Like
just
this is
turning
like
23?
he just turned 23 last week.
Wow.
It's and Ajax is going to be turning 24 in November. But it's he's a guy who we've talked about all season long and we'll continue to talk about because he's still going to be a member of the Bucks, is just a valuable player who is capable of being a solid rotational player, like being a genuinely good point guard in the NBA. I'm not saying
Yeah.
he's going to be a star or anything like that, but he is a good, serviceable point guard who will do a lot of good things and will play well next to Giannis. And I think that's one of the most important things about Ryan Rollins. And just being able to retain your young talent that you know works with your franchise superstar is just great. It's a massive win, and it's rare to see the Bucks do something like this over the last like decade or so, is just retain young talent. And they managed to find young talent. They managed to retain him. One down, one to go. AJ Green contract extension eligible.
Yeah, as of today. So I think I did want to amend my conspiracy tie moment on the last pod where I said, oh, maybe they're thinking about trading him, so they don't want to extend him. They couldn't offer it to him before today, I believe, because this is the anniversary of the signing originally. And we did see them get fined for tampering. Remember when they said they were going to give the Supermax to Giannis, which, like, really, NBA? But that was against the rules. So despite being able to talk to your own free agents, AJ Green is not.
Someone else did that recently, by the way.
Yeah,
I haven't heard any
I don't know if
tampering
they've gotten. Yeah, we'll see if that fine comes through or not. The Rockets, maybe. I don't remember who said something. Oh no, that doesn't matter. We'll see though if that news comes through. Obviously, Milwaukee a little busy making other transactions formalized as well, and they do have until I think either the last day of the regular season, I think it is, to extend AJ Green. So a lot of time. Sooner is better. But I hope that gets done
until the league year is done. Actually,
they might have all year, the whole actual year. But yeah, not a free agent, to be clear. I saw people like, oh, you can't talk to your own. I thought you could talk to your own free agents. You can. AJ is under contract, so the extension talks can start today. They can sign him 120% of the league average annual salary, I think. So the max is like a 4-year, $50 or $60 million deal. I don't think he gets that much, but they can go up pretty high if they need to. On Rollins from @FreeWave3 on Twitter, who shared a nice little clips package as well. This was the tweet, and this was kind of the impetus of me being like, damn, they really should figure this thing out. And they did just a couple hours later. But it says Ryan Rollins will be the steal of free agency. Just turned 23, 6'10" wingspan. I will say they left off only about 6'2", 6'3" height. So if you just look at the height, you're like, oh, small guard. Does have the huge wingspan, though, which we've seen, in real games, makes him impactful defensively. Back to the tweet. Super active defender, 87th percentile in deflections per 75 minutes, 60th percentile in 60th overall in 2-year D wrap him, which I don't really care about that, but that's an advanced tracking metric telling you he's a top 100, top 75 player in the impact there, and one of 10 players with a more than 2.5 steal percentage and 1.9 block percentage last season. So just 10 guys were able to accumulate steals and blocks at that high of a level per their possessions defensively. He shot 55% from 2, 40% from 3, with a nearly 2 assists to turnover and 15% assist rate. It ends by saying elite rotation guard in plain sight. I think I agree. My hot take on Rollins is I think he will win the starting job, although I don't think he'll come into the year with it.
I think that's a pretty... Yeah, I think I might be in agreement with you on that take. I mean, the point guard room now consists of Ryan Rollins and Kevin Porter Jr., whose signing is not yet official, but we shall see. But Ryan Rollins, just a very, very capable defensive guard who is also just a sturdy ball handler. And that's one of the things we've been talking about as this offseason has progressed is, KPJ and Giannis, is that it for your ball handling group? Is that it? You kind of have a massive hole there. I think they still have a hole there, but it's not nearly as gaping as it was pre-Ryan Rollins signing. But Rollins is just such a capable ball handler, plays well next to Giannis, and is capable of playing off ball. If we're doing a lot of point Giannis this year, if that's what the Bucks are intending on doing, and that's their best pathway to success.
Yeah.
Ryan Rollins is a guy who can operate without the ball in his hands. He's a good 3-point shooter off the catch, can also attack off the catch from the 3-point line, drive to the rim, can read a defense really, really well, can operate pick and roll really, really well, especially with Giannis. And if you have Myles Turner, who's a good screen and roll player as well, more of a roller than Brook Lopez. Again, I'm not trying to denigrate Brook Lopez here. I'm just talking about who is on the Milwaukee Bucks roster. It is a very, very intriguing player, Ryan Rollins is, and I do think he is going to be capable of winning that starting job if Doc is capable of changing starting lineups. That's one thing we have to keep in mind this situation is it's Doc Rivers.
That is true. It also, I think, a big impact on the starters will be who, if anyone else, is brought in, because I do think if, say, an offensive-minded shooting guard were added to the roster, then maybe Rollins makes even more sense to do more defensively next to that player, but we shall see. But yeah, very glad he's back. And I do think, to your point...
Did we talk about the contract at all?
Yeah, really, I think really good contract, actually.
Yeah, an insanely good value contract. 3 years, $12 million with a player option in the third year. Wildly cheap contract. Cheap contract. for a guy who we were hoping would be locked up when his contract was converted from a two-way to a actual roster spot, one of the 15-man roster spots back in the spring. But just going into unrestricted free agency, we thought it was going to be restricted free agency, but unrestricted free agency, I still think getting that good value deal, especially when it was reported that the Spurs were really, really building in their interest before the Bucks signed Rollins. I think it's a really good contract. There's a chance that is next year looked at it was one of the most ridiculous contracts in the NBA.
Yeah, I think
$4 million.
Yeah, but it's only really for 2 years, if all goes well.
I'm saying next year. It's
no, I know. So I thought you meant in terms of so there's going to be some multi-year deals where you're like, damn, that guy's still making that, like some of the early extensions. But for that league year, I think there's a pretty good shot that it is.
Probably this year too.
Yeah, I mean, again, we'll see who else comes in.
You're
and
maximizing
what his role
these
is.
2 years with Giannis.
Yeah, 100%. For the Rollins, if you're wondering, like, oh, if that's so little, why would Rollins take it? His career earnings were $4,087,017, hilariously enough, dollars coming into this contract. So to basically double that in just the first year of this, and then be able to double it again over the next 2 years after, you can see why there's motivation here for both sides. And I do think
he'll hit free agency when he's 25.
Yeah, 25 or 26 at worst if he does opt in.
Yeah. I have a feeling he's going to opt out.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm high on Rollins as well, and I think this is again not to be Mr. Bucks cape on here, but when you just look at the draft record and you're not looking at the second draft record, I think you're missing some things in terms of player acquisition and development. And would it be great if some more of their second round picks hit, including Ajax? Yeah, it would. But I mean, if you get Rollins, who's again just now 23, and AJ Green, who is 25 ish, somewhere in there. I don't know exactly how old. Sorry, AJ Green. I don't know exactly how old he is. Undrafted or on his third team in kind of 2-3 years after being a very young rookie.
25.
Kind of
26 in September.
Kind of replenishes your young pipeline. So they do have some young players, just maybe not the ones they drafted. We'll see. Actually, real quick, how do you feel about the Tyler Smith mixtape moment that we're in right now?
It's funny.
Big summer league
it's
coming up for our guy.
It really is. Honestly, I know we're both big on Tyler Smith.
Yeah.
There's no room for him.
Hey, if he can guard the three, that's the question.
If he can guard the three, that's fine. I have my doubts about that.
I think it's actually possible. I mean, we said I don't think he's ever a 5. So I think he is a 4 inherently, but can he scale down just a little bit? That's the real question. I don't know if he can.
If you just have a pterodactyl at the 3, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like MPJ is sort of a 3. Not really, though. Kind of. I mean, Aaron Gordon's their 4. Yeah. So, real quick, actually, and I promise not to get derailed too much, but the Bucks Summer League roster is out. They put it out on July 3rd. And some interesting names. Of course, Tyler Smith is going to be there. Andre Jackson Jr. is going to be there. Not really sure how I feel about that. Had a terrible Summer League last year. Don't think he is a Summer League player, but we'll see. I'm way too excited about Keita Bates-Diop being there. Someone who I wanted the Bucks to sign.
I knew you would be. When I saw him, I was like, this is a tie guy.
I literally said to someone, probably the most live chance of a player making the Bucks roster from Summer League, at least since they've been actually good. He might still be able to play. Had a good shooting year with the Spurs. We'll see. But 6'8", 3-and-D forward they could use. Just came back from China. Was in Qingdao. But we'll see what that shot looks like.
I would say the most likely person to make the Bucks roster on this Summer League roster is Bogey, but
I suppose he's up for grabs too. Bogoljub Markovic, of course. We will see him. First game Thursday evening, Bucks Summer League. Also, really bad slate of Summer League games for the Bucks overall. I think they'll see 2 first-round picks the whole time. The guy the Clippers took with the very last pick of the round, the center, Yannick Niederhauser. And then they play the Bulls, so Noah Essengay is there. But not a lot of star power. I think they kind of shoved all the teams who barely picked or didn't pick in the draft into one group for Summer League scheduling.
Unless they start winning in Summer League for once.
Yeah, then I think they get a 5th game either way, but they could make the tournament. I don't know if they are going to start winning. I will say Uh,
It's crazy. They're being relegated even in summer league because their first three games aren't even at Thomas and Mack.
no, and they're all bad times. A couple of them are really late, if I
Yeah, we have
remember right.
8:30 Central, 2:30 Central, and then 8:30 Central.
Yeah. They do have two fun short guards, Marquise Noel, who would be a fun Herd player, and Mark Sears. They are bringing John Butler Jr., the big shooter from the Herd, who I was a fan of, and they traded for. Still waiting for my commission check on that scouting work, but will be fun to watch him. He can really shoot it. They're bringing the two ways, of course, Bouye, Nance, and I mentioned Sears. David
Chris
Joplin.
Livingston.
Chris Livingston is an interesting one. We'll see if he's actually there, but I do think this came out after the news came that he was waived, which is, tough. They could re-sign him. I think it is an option. I think I mentioned on our last pod, if I remember right, the non-guaranteed guys could be waived and potentially brought back to help with the Myles Turner contract because they just needed all the cap space they could get. And I think that day or like the next day, word came out they were waiving Livingston.
Yeah. So it's kind of an interesting summer league roster for the Bucks. They got guards. They've got guards, which is good. You need guards.
Yeah, some rookies. They're bringing Malik Williams, a center who just played with the Skyforce a year, 6'11". So a couple of real size on here. I mean, Butler is 7 foot, but doesn't really play like a center. Here's what I'm interested in. Tyler Smith. Let's see how serious they are. Do they roll him out with two bigs? Do we get like a Malik Williams, Bogolyub, Tyler Smith lineup and like go guard forwards? Go guard Noah Essengay. Maybe the best player we'll see this whole gauntlet. Actually, is Madas? I think Madas is going. So if he guards Buzelis, I'll be moved. There's the line.
That is actually a good benchmark for him.
That's a real NBA player. A real NBA 3, I would say Buzelis is. Or Buzelis? I think it's Buzelis, but I always say Buzelis. Yeah. Matas. I guess I don't know how to say either of his names officially. But yeah, I'm excited for Summer League. I think Nance is a big. Bogolyub is big, but he's not really a 5. They got some size.
Yeah, and I think, like I was saying earlier, with Bogolyub, if he's, showing that he can actually do something, maybe he gets a roster spot.
Yeah, I mean, they still have a couple open. So we can now get to, unless you have any other Summer League thoughts, you excited for David Joplin, Marquette's own?
Oh, yeah.
Real strong potential Herd player there, given the team does like it when people show up to the games. Not saying people don't show up to the games, but when you bring someone who played college in the state, people show up to the games even more. But yeah, fun.
I think Mark Sears is going to have some fun in Summer League. Like, this is not true NBA competition, so this is really his forte.
Yeah, I think he might eat. I think he might look good, and he might get people too excited. Also, remember how we dove in and Mark Sears is listed as 6'1", but he's not? What is Marquise Noel's actual height if he's listed at 5'7"? Is he 4'9"?
He might be.
Oh my God. I can't wait to watch him. He's a fun player. I wanted him on the Herd. And maybe I'm getting that. Any of these players could end up being Herd players as well. So it's not been announced, I don't think, who has the... Oh, man.
2 years ago, he measured at 5'6"3/4 barefoot.
So actually an accurate one then. He's actually not really lying. He's underselling it. In shoes, he plays taller than 5'7".
Yeah. 6 foot wingspan.
That's the selling point. Same wingspan as Ty Windisch.
He's got a plus wingspan.
That big plus wing. He's longer than he looks. That's good. Yeah. But any other Summer League thoughts from you outside of excited to? I mean, obviously most excited to see Bogolyub play in this format and to see the actual Bucks guys, the two ways, but especially Smith. And I guess see what Ajax is going to do. I'm still conflicted about him being there.
That's the thing. That's the last thing I wanted to talk about is Ajax. Yeah. What are we looking for? I genuinely have no idea. Is it just like he better show up and be an offensive machine because that's his only method of play? Yeah,
I think if he doesn't, we could explain it away as like, oh, it's not a Summer League format for him. Going into what is this going to be year 3? He should dominate. Like he should be a great. He doesn't have to be.
You're going to be in Rashad Vaughn territory.
He doesn't have to average 30 points a game by any means, but it should be like, oh man, he's like pushing a triple double. Like you know what I mean? Like he's dunking, he's throwing some nice passes. The turnovers aren't too crazy. There's going to be some because these guys are playing together for like 2 weeks basically in the totality. but he should be rebounding, like looking good on defense. Like he should be impressive.
I honestly disagree with that. I
Why?
think he should be really looking for stuff on the offensive end because that's his only avenue to play. This dude has locked up the NBA MVP in the highest stage that he has played
Yeah.
in the actual NBA regular season. I'm not worried about him on defense. And that's his strong point. Like that's why you would like lead to actually him having some minutes, but it's just the offense. It's
Well, yeah, I
just
want
do
to see the
something.
offense too.
I know, but I legitimately only want to see the offense. I really do not care about his defense because I know what it is at this point.
Yeah, but I'd still be disappointed if he didn't play any defense there.
I mean, yeah,
He
but it's
can't
like
let it
that's not what
slip.
I'm looking. I'm not looking for rebounds. I'm not looking for defense. I'm just looking for points, assists, honestly.
But I mean, like for rebounds, I'm looking like, grab the board and take it down the court and make the right pass like Magic Johnson. That's the kind of play I want to see. For the scoring, fine. Like shoot your ugly three. I just feel like I know enough
Or
about
score
his
at the
shooting.
rim. Do something
Yeah, that's
in
the
the
thing.
paint.
So I was gonna say I want to see him score at the rim. I don't care about the shooting that much. I just feel like
No.
he's got the ugly shot. He can't get it off if he's covered, but he makes them at an okay clip. I like the 5-game sample isn't going to sway me on his shooting. I don't think, unless he actually changed the form, which based on picks from Greece, he has not changed the form, which I'm okay with. But yeah, I want to see splash plays, to be clear, not just like defense and rebounding, but like what I'm saying. Go up, grab a contested board, tear down court, and either dunk or like make a good pass, not full Magic Johnson that he's attempted like over the head out of bounds, but
He will
actually,
try those.
but pull it off. Pull it off then if you're gonna try it.
Yeah, I want to see him drive and finish at the rim.
Yeah,
Honestly,
that's
a lot
probably
of
the
what I
number
want
one
to see.
skill. That's the number one skill we need to see.
And like honestly, not even just dunks always. Just like actual, just
I'm
normal
fine if he
finishes.
just dunks. He's an athletic freak. Go up and dunk. Dunk or get fouled.
Yeah, but in summer league, you're not going to be able to. The caliber of players you're dunking on is not going to be NBA. I don't want to get comfortable with that. I want to see actual things that'll translate to the NBA.
I mean, that's the intent. Go for the dunk in the NBA. If you don't get it, you're probably getting fouled.
That's fair.
How about this?
That's
Fine,
fair.
layups, but none of these like 2-foot floaters.
Yeah, strong finishes.
No, look at the basket,
Get into the
turn
guy's
around.
body.
Yeah. We agree. I don't know if we'll see it, but we agree. Good.
If he doesn't do that, I think he's cooked.
I don't think he's cooked. Honestly, I'd be shocked if this changed anything for Ajax. I do feel like the rotation is filling out in a way where it will be tough for him to play, but maybe there's a trade coming. We'll talk about some big names a little later in the pod. We'll talk about Myles Turner, officially a Buck now. But first, we'll talk about our friends at PrizePicks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports platform and the best place to turn your sports knowledge into cash. There's millions of members at PrizePicks, and they have made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. All you need to do is pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. Everyone knows we are basketball junkies, Rohan, and the good news is summer ball is on PrizePicks. I am not kidding. I am looking at it right now. I think Milwaukee may be a little bit too far away at this point, but I am seeing VJ Edgecombe, who dominated his first game. Your guy, Walter Clayton Jr., 11.5 points in their game against Memphis. Ace Bailey, 16 points. Nikola Topic, VJ Edgecombe, Johnny Broom, Adem Bona, Jalen Hood-Schifino, and more. So when Thursday rolls around, the Bucks' first summer league game is coming up. I can't wait to see what are we looking at for Bogoljub Markovic. What are we looking at for Tyler Smith? I don't know yet, but I'm going to be in there going in. Jalen Wells is playing summer league. I'm going to take the more than on Jalen Wells points, rebounds, and assists because that, sir, is an NBA player. But that's what I love about PrizePicks. They have so many different sports in here that you can play daily fantasy version of. They also, of course, have women's basketball. Tonight, Tuesday or Monday as we record, Paige Beckers, 19.5 points at Phoenix. I will take the more than there. And maybe a little Kayla Thornton, 12.5 field goals attempted. I'd have to dive in there. I haven't watched enough Valkyries, but that's interesting too. Check out PrizePicks for all of these plays and many, many more to win yourself some cash. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code Eurostep to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code Eurostep on the PrizePicks app. Play your first $5 lineup. Whether you win, whether you lose, you get $50 to play with on us. The best deal in sports, even better than the Ryan Rollins deal. PrizePicks, run your game. Another good deal. Myles Turner, Milwaukee Buck, officially signed to his 4-year contract. We know the terms. The Bucks obviously don't ever put out the terms themselves, but it's officially official.
4 years, 107.
Thank you. 107. Myles Turner is a Buck, and that is very exciting. The press release, this caught my eye. Whoa.
It honestly did for me too. Like,
Whoa.
I know when you said something about it, I was like, is it really? And then I read it and I'm like, yeah, that actually does catch my eye, but I'll let you tell people what it is.
So the press release, which I didn't get, Eric Dame tweeted it. Thank you, Eric Dame of The Athletic, for that. Starts.
And the Bucks put it out.
Oh, okay, so I missed that. Starts with the Milwaukee Bucks have signed Myles Turner, period. Ho-hum. Then it's the casual, the classic press release, just word salad, his measurables, his total games played over 10 years for some reason. That's not pertinent information, I don't think. Career averages, all that stuff. Then we get to the quotes, and this is always good. Usually John Horst, a pretty demure quote. "We are thrilled that Myles chose our team and city! Exclamation point!" said Bucks general manager John Horst. Whoa! Team and city! He's all in, Rohan. He's loving that Myles Turner picked Milwaukee. I am too.
I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, he's the biggest free agent he's signed?
I mean, almost literally. Not quite, but yeah, in terms of deal value, pretty easily in terms of market or how much they made.
GM?
2017.
2017. Okay.
I think.
So he was the Brook Lopez. Yeah, he was Brook Lopez as well. But it's the largest outside free agent contract, I believe he's signed a guy to.
And certainly the splashiest. I would say this probably comes in even ahead of Monroe. Monroe was pretty exciting at the time too, I suppose.
I don't think he was Monroe though.
Oh yeah, you're right. Was that like 2015?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Horst's biggest and I probably want to say the biggest outside free agent contract the Bucks have ever given. I would think. I would assume
so because it was Greg Monroe.
Yeah. Okay. So definitely it is then. So yeah, Myles Turner officially a Buck. He also said he's a winner, dynamic player who fits us on both ends of the court. Big day for the Bucks in the Milwaukee community, and we are excited to welcome Myles and his family. Myles Turner, legendary Lego enthusiast. Did we talk about this on the last pod? He's got a hashtag. So.
He does?
Like he uses a hashtag related to Lego. It's like adults who Lego, but it's abbreviated.
AWL?
There's something else in there too, I think. I'm pulling it up.
But John Horst being excited is worthy of excitement. I mean,
AFOL.
Adult fans of Lego?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Nice. I want to know how he's going to move all of them. I know that's been a talking point. Like, how is he going to move all of his completed Lego
Oh, yeah, we did talk about this.
To Milwaukee.
Yeah. Yeah, with money. Or you know what? I have a new answer.
He's going to disassemble it and
reassemble
it.
I mean, if you're a true Lego...
I don't think that's going to happen.
If you're a true Lego enthusiast, though, I mean, is it about the journey or the destination?
I think for him right now, the destination, because he has already done the journey once.
We'll see. I hope we get the chance to ask him.
You'd have to redo everything? How are you going to keep up with the new sets?
I don't know. I guess, again, we'll have to have him on the pod to ask. If you're an adult fan of Lego, are you just getting every Lego set, or are you picking and choosing? Are you going for retro? I don't know. I don't know anything about Lego. I would get into it. This seems like actually a perilous opportunity. Like, I'm this close to going and getting a Lego set.
That'd be a good just off-season, like August pod for us, is just building Lego sets.
With Myles Turner.
Yeah, with Myles Turner. Let's make it happen. Someone who knows him, let us know.
He needs to get a sponsor. I wonder if he gets like them comped, because some of the big ones are really expensive.
I know.
He can't afford them. But still, $120 whatever $1 million contract.
On planet Earth.
Pretty much anything. Well, no. Not the Bucks themselves, but...
Or like those mega yachts. Like, there's some things that are just for billionaires.
Yeah. Could rent it, though. Anyway, but that contract is official. So is the Bobby Portis contract as of this morning. That is a little interesting because the wave of Damian Lillard and the buyout of Vasilij Micic has not hit the transactional wire yet, and I haven't seen them reported. Obviously, week plus ago. It was like they planned to waive Damian, or maybe less than a week ago now. They planned to waive Damian Lillard, but that's different than the Bucks have actually waived him, and he has not cleared waivers yet. So I'm guessing that just happened this morning, and it hasn't been reported yet. I mean, they had to have cap space somehow. Friend of the pod, Tony East, reported this was not a sign and trade. That the Bucks just straight up signed him. But still a little interesting, at least to me, the minutia of it all, how they made this work. But clearly they did, because he is officially signed to the Milwaukee Bucks now, which is great.
Yeah. Yeah, it must have been somehow. It's kind of seems strange that it hasn't come across yet. It just seems weird.
Keith Smith, CBA expert, said sometimes the waivers take a little longer to get to the transaction log. So maybe that's the case. I don't know. I do think it's strange because this is like they needed to have the space to sign him. You can't just sign him and then figure out, the cap stuff after in the NBA, at least to my knowledge. So a little weird. But they also officially did the Micic trade.
Actually, this officially happened yesterday. I'm on the NBA.
For the transaction log, that's odd to me. The Bobby thing is showing us then too. So maybe they're backfilling it. They had so much stuff that they're not getting it up in time. That could be it.
Yeah. And did the Bucks officially announce that they waived Chris Livingston?
Yes, it's older. You have to go back farther. That was like last week, but that is on the. So him,
Wednesday,
I think
July 2nd.
I think him being waived and clearing waivers shows up. So at least getting waived. So certainly that should be on the. No, I think both show up on the real GM version. Anyway, all of this to say, they got Myles Turner. There was a little. I've been covering this really intently since yesterday, the Sunday, the 6th. Because that was the day the moves could become official. And as we talked about, a lot of complicated things had to happen in order for them to have the cap space. So it's kind of like, okay, when is Dame going to get waived? When is the Micic trade going to become official? That happened earlier on yesterday. And then everything else they needed to do. And we didn't really get firm answers, frankly, on a lot of it. But clearly it worked out because Turner is a Buck.
Yeah.
But there was some concern. People were like, oh, is it falling through? I was like, no, I don't think it's falling through. It's just complicated. And I also think they were kind of waiting to see if they could make something else happen. Actually, I don't know if I should share this on the pod.
I'd say share it.
I heard rumblings. I'll say rumblings. Through not a source, but as I say, like a source adjacent source. You know what I mean? Like, not really a league source, but someone who knows league sources.
You're hearing things through the grapevine.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. That they were exploring, could we make this a sign and trade combined with Lopez, making that a sign and trade to the Clippers, combined with like the Connaughton Micic deal or something else to then not need the cap space. You'd still have to waive and stretch Dame for the hard cap considerations, but then you could keep your MLE open to go get one of the free agents we'll talk about who's still or suddenly on the board. And I was like, that's very interesting. That would be an interesting move, but obviously nothing came of that. But I think that was part of the reason exploring things like that, why it kind of took longer. I think the Bucks are turning over every stone in real time, and we're trying to make sure they didn't do any move out of order. But clearly, at a certain point, we're like, well, let's just sign our prize free agent and figure out everything else from there.
Yeah, and I think the most important part is that Myles Turner has signed a contract with the Milwaukee Bucks.
So
that's the biggest part of it.
So based on that and everything else we know, and again, some of the other contracts like Kevin Porter Jr. are not official yet.
Gary Trent, Taurean Prince, Jericho Sims,
Gary Harris, who shares an agent with Myles Turner. Did we share that on the last pod?
I think we did, but it's I think it's very funny that the Myles Turner signing gets announced and immediately Gary Harris. You think it was in the same text to Sean's?
No, it's probably a follow-up.
Oh yeah. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, Myles Turner signing in Milwaukee. By the way, also Gary Harris's.
Gary too. Gary 2 and Gary 2 the number because he's their second Gary.
Nope. But we should expect to see the Gary Trent Jr., like all these other ones we talked about come through soon.
Yes, so that's what I was going to say. So now that this one is done, the Turner was the big one that you needed cap space for. Now that that's done, and clearly they opened up the space, presumably with the aforementioned reported, or the previously reported, the Dame waive and stretch and Vasilij Micic buyout, which seeing what that number is will be interesting, but ultimately immaterial since they did sign Turner now. All the other stuff can just happen. So they don't have the MLE. I've seen that question asked a lot. It turns out I was right initially on our reaction pod. They have the room exception, which is $8 million. That's like the MLE for if you use cap space, it's lower. And they've used most of it on Kevin Porter Jr. They have maybe 3-point-something million left. It was erroneously thought that they used the rest of it on Ryan Rollins. They didn't. They had early bird rights on him they retained. So they're signing Rollins with early bird. The rest of the guys with vet minimums. Sims, technically they have bird, but I think they're doing a vet min anyway. And then Kevin Porter Jr., based on the contract that was reported, as part of the room exception. They don't have the biannual anymore because they also use cap space. So you lose that, you lose the MLE. So they do lose a little bit of their power, but they clearly decided Turner was worth more than like maybe some combo of like Amir Coffey and DeAndre Ayton, if they could even sign both of those guys. I mean, Coffey's still around. Whoever the second guy was, Cole Anthony.
Like they could still sign Coffey right now.
Yeah, they could still do that, which they don't. Unless I think he's a 3, I probably wouldn't. But yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see. Part of me, and just like my weird conspiracy brain in NBA terms, wants to think.
Good addition.
Yeah, I'm a very logical and rational person. Don't worry. That might be news to people who have been listening to this podcast for a while.
We're pro trade tea leaves and anti the moon landing was fake on this podcast.
Correct. I think that's a good way of putting it. Are we sure this Kevin Porter Jr. deal goes through?
Yeah, I think it does. It is rare for a deal to be backed out of or altered. It does happen. Usually it's the player who does. I think one of the Morris twins done it like twice. But
yeah. I think that's the most recent example.
But I was thinking, like, whether it's Chris Paul or Brad Beal. So based on everything reported, the Bucks would be able to give Beal basically or Paul their vet min, which is pretty good for those players. And I guess we can transition now into that section of the episode. 3.6 mil is your vet min if you played 10 years in the league. Paul's played like 23 or something. Beal's played 13. So that's the most you can make on vet minimum contracts. And the Clippers are now in the market for Beal because they've traded Norman Powell in a deal that got them John Collins. Very strange, frustrating trade.
Weird deal.
Yeah, I was like,
what a weird summer Utah's had.
Yeah, really bad. Really bad summer.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. Like, Danny Ainge holding out for 5 first-round picks for Lauri Markkanen, but getting 0 picks from Sexton, Clarkson, or John Collins?
Well, it's Austin Ainge, and apparently he is like trying to blaze his own trail instead of a guy who makes
is a bad GM.
Well, instead of a guy who makes only few trades, but they're good, he's like, I'll just make a bunch of trades, but they're bad.
Well, Danny's still in charge, though, right?
Not really. I think he's like, kind of advisory in charge. I think Austin is pulling the strings here.
Wild. Well, you're not doing a good job so far, Austin.
Whichever one of them is. Yeah, no. Well, they gave up the second to get off Sexton. They got a second in the Collins deal to take on Miami's bad contracts, and they just waived Clarkson. I think it's bad business. Could have just waived all 3 guys and been done with it, but whatever. But I was like, I don't like Norm Powell in Miami. That's going to hurt 4 times a year.
Bucks killer certified.
Yep. But that does take him out of the Beal running. But then Clippers are maybe in it. I know we disagree on how if Beal will go there. Maybe I don't disagree, but
I don't. Here's my thinking is if you're the Clippers, I don't think you make that deal without having a strong feeling that you're like more likely than not getting Bradley Beal.
It's just such a
that just
bad
leaves a
fit, though.
I know it leaves a massive hole in your offense. Like Norman Powell, I was arguing should have been an all-star last year.
Me too. I mean, kind of the Jeremy Grant sort of all-star, but still
an all-star nonetheless.
Yeah.
And you're just trading him in away and leaving a hole into your 2-guard position?
Well, I think right now, before they did anything else, they would probably just start Chris Dunn and Harden. And that's the thing is, Harden and Beal, at their ages, starting as your backcourt, I just don't know how you guard any guards. Ever. Maybe they do it anyway. Maybe they still have him on a bench role. They can offer the most money.
Do everything, please.
I mean, yeah, which is like, Jesus Christ. I mean, you kind of have to handhold him through the season to an extent to make sure he comes out of it ambulatory. Zubats, you want to actually make all defense? This is your opportunity. Maybe he did last year, but everyone says he's this great defender. We will see. You will be tested.
Can you win most improved?
No.
Who won most improved then?
Dyson Daniels?
Did he?
Or did he win?
Oh yeah.
Who won DPOI?
Oh God, who did win DPOI?
So I thought it was going to be him, but maybe it was someone else. Oh, Kyle Lowry's going back to the Sixers.
Mobley,
oh, Kevin Porter Jr. official. So you can put that to rest.
Okay, cool. So
Bucks just tweeted it.
I'm glad we got that. I'm glad we got that out.
Welcome back, Sakuda.
Look at us actually getting deals happening while we're recording. That's awesome.
I felt good about it, to be honest. They're basically chugging out everything that was reported on earlier.
And doing them like a few hours apart when they're putting it up there.
Yeah, I mean, they might be having actually these guys like come in and maybe they're just hanging out, pull one of them up to sign. That's probably, they don't really need to do a press release, I'm sure.
This NBA transactions website is not up to date, clearly.
No, it's not. Now I'm going to the Bucks news. Let's see if I can break one of these today. The rush of being first to tweet out, the Bucks have officially agreed to terms with Taurean Prince. It would alter my brain chemistry for the rest of the day. But Beal. So yeah, Beal might go there. Oh, I keep getting distracted. They can pay him more than the Bucks. So the Bucks have the vet min, but not a lot. So the Clippers used most of their MLE on Lopez, I think $8 million-ish this year, but they have like $5.3 million of it left. So less than $2 million difference, which is obviously something. It's not a lot for Bradley Beal, who is like getting like 100 and some million paid out to him over the next 2 years by the Suns as part of this buyout that they're doing with him. He does have to leave $14 million on the table just so they can legally stretch him because they have other dead money from, hilariously enough, Nasir Little and someone else, and EJ Liddell, who they waived and stretched a couple years ago. What a pair of names. But he's not going to get that back. At this point, I don't think anyone he's interested in has even close to the full non-tax MLE. I think Miami was the one, so if it was going to be all money, that's off the board. But West Coast,
if
Clippers...
you're Beal, why do you agree to this then?
It sounds like he's ready to go now, too. I just don't even know if they were going to play him at all. Yeah.
It's even better.
No, I mean, you know, it sounds good as just a normal person. You put yourself in, like, the shoes of an NBA player. It doesn't sound good. I mean, it sounds okay. Yeah, but you get paid either way.
These are guys who are absolute psychos about basketball. That's the only reason they are where they are.
And in his mind, I guess you give up 14 total. I think he has to give up. You can make back 3 to 5 this year. He's probably like, I can get 10 mil next year. Easy. I don't know if that's the case, but maybe. I mean, it might be. It might be.
If he balls out.
Yeah. I mean, if he plays as well as he played last year, he would have gotten an MLE from someone.
Yeah.
17, 3, and 3 on like 50, 40, 80 shooting splits is nothing to sneeze at.
It's nothing to sneeze at, but
it moves me. I would be thrilled.
I'll say that.
I would be thrilled.
I'm starting to wane a little bit.
Really? Explain. Explain the wane. Because
if you're the Bucks, who are you cutting into then? Gary and AJ?
Yeah, or calling one of them a 3. Those are pretty much the options. Which I don't hate that option.
Yeah. But then you're kind of forced to trade Kuzma.
Oh no.
Which is awesome.
Oh no.
Actually.
Oh no.
Yeah. That's actually really cool. That's a good thing.
Darn.
Oh man. Shucks.
What would you put on Kuzma to get RJ Barrett back?
Definitely the first.
Really?
Yeah, I'd put the first on.
Somebody talked me into like, you look at the numbers close enough and it's kind of just the same as Kuzma. And I did, and I was like, damn.
But the fit's so much better.
I think it is too.
Like, Kuzma's honestly too big for his own good.
You make him sound like a Saint Bernard.
Kuzma might be the first player where it's like, if he was shorter, he would be better. Usually it's like, oh, if this guy was like 6'9", 6'10", he'd be amazing. If Kuzma was 6'5", he'd honestly be perfect.
No. I think 6'6" or 6'7" would be 6'9". I don't know. My heart is open to Kuzma again.
Mine's not. I mean, I don't see the fit. I don't see, especially when you just signed Bobby, you're going to be
He's just a
playing
big
Myles
three.
Turner a lot.
He's a big three now. That's it.
But he's not good at that.
He's got to be.
But that's the problem is he's not good at it.
But
And he
maybe
has to be good at it. So it's kind of like it doesn't work. Do you see what the problem is now?
I
He
see
has
the
to be good
problem,
at something,
that it didn't
and he's
work.
very bad at the thing he has
I
to
don't
be
know
good
if
at.
he's very bad at it. He had a very bad playoffs.
He's not good at it.
He had some intriguing defensive moments in the regular season.
Sure, but the Bucks are poised to be a better defensive team than they were last year anyway.
I don't know.
I think so, 100%.
They ended up rating out okay. It depends who they're going to start at the 2 and the 3. I mean, my guy Beal would not help. That's clear.
Nope.
It's kind of,
I don't know.
We're already back to it. We went from like wide open rotation to like, oh, it's already kind of muddled, even before Beal.
Yeah, I don't see that's part of the reason why I don't think the Bucks, I don't think they should be upset if Bradley Beal signs somewhere else. Is what, like, whose minutes are you, like, is Gary and AJ, like, is that what's going to be happening? Or is like what here's my thing. What does Bradley Beal give you that cannot be at least 80% Gary Trent Jr. gives you?
The last 20%. That's the whole thing. I mean, he is a much more. I mean, that's the point, right? That's the point of upgrading.
But he's also a better defender.
Trent, yeah, but Beal, I think the level of shot making in the half court is what they're desperately missed at, and wing defense is what they're missing at this point. He obviously does not help with the wing defense.
He actually gives you a negative.
Yeah, he does, but he gives you a huge pop. I mean, again, his down year. Terrible fit off the bench, 17, 3 and 3 on 50, 40, 80. That was the down year. Obviously, you can go back if you want and see the 30-point per game season in Washington. Like, he's just a much better half-court scorer than anyone not named Giannis that they have, and I don't really think it's that close. Maybe you can tap more into Trent. I know he's had 18-point per game seasons in Toronto. There's probably some upside with him on the ball. I don't know. He didn't always look comfortable with the rock last season. Maybe if he just has it more, that'll come back.
Yeah, because he had a mandate to go feed Kyle Kuzma on the wing.
I'm talking early year too, though.
I know. I'm just upset.
I mean, it all makes more sense.
No, that's fair. You need more like on-ball creation.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big bet right now on KPJ, Rollins,
I literally said that
and
earlier,
Trent.
so I can't be upset about it.
It depends how good you feel about betting on those guys versus Beal. The other thing is, and why I would always do it, is we're talking vet min because they lost all their other exceptions. If it doesn't work, you just get rid of him. I mean, you're not tied to him like Phoenix was.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. We're going to send you out west somewhere. Where do you want to go? Like the Clippers gave us
historically good guard coming to the Bucks. You're getting cut.
The Clippers gave us yeah.
Well, that's a reputation.
I mean, yeah, they could just cut him because they're not going to be a tax team. So they great call, Rohan. They have no reason to not. If it doesn't work, just be like, all right, see ya. Pick your next team. We're gonna go bring in someone else.
Yeah.
Cutting guys is on the table.
Yeah. The Bucks are not being there. By the way, I don't think this is something we've clearly said when talking about the contracts. It does not look like they're going to be a tax team at all.
Not even close.
Not even close for this year. So it's kind of an interesting way
feels
for the
so
Bucks
different.
to operate. It's really different. You don't have to worry about any of these rules. It's crazy.
So based on everything we know now, before we find out how much Micic gave up, so this is with the Micic hit. Oh, this is before Rollins. Let me add. I'll just put in straight $4 million and not take too long to look up the actual number. That's $400,000. They have $174 million in total salaries, and again, it's going to be lower. Misic's number cannot be that high, but even using the full, he's already gone. I think they are $13 million below the tax, and they're just about done. That is a lot. That is 13 spots because Dame is on here. He's obviously not a roster spot, and then Micic will be gone. So you can only sign 2 more players, and you have no avenues to sign more than minimum players. They lost everything else. I mean, technically, the room exception, they could sign a $3 million player. It's not making a huge difference. Like, they could only add like $5 million salary. They could add more in a trade but you'd have to trade Kuzma for a player making way more. I don't even know if it's legal. Maybe it is. There's pretty loose trade rules now, but they're not even close. So it's not really being cheap at this point. Maybe that was part of the reason, but the Dame thing, if you think about it, they had to get far enough below the cap to sign Turner to that deal and then do everything on top. So of course, I mean the cap is way below the tax. So yeah, they have a lot of it's 30 mil below it. So it would be really tough for them to get back up there. So yeah, they're way under the tax now going forward.
Yeah. So they have 2 more roster spots that they can sign people to, correct?
Yes. Yeah, because there's 15 cap hits on my sheet here once Rollins is in, but one of them is Dame, who's gone, and one of them is Micic, who will be gone.
Okay.
So 2 open spots. They only need to fill 1, but again, now that we're not in apron or tax territory, why not fill both, right? There's no real, it's just a little bit more expensive, but way less than previous years.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So how about this? More breaking news. Scotto.
Oh.
Michael Scotto. The Bucks have agreed to a buyout with Vasile Micic. Give me the number, Scotto.
Wow.
I mean, we knew this.
So he was making $8.1 million, I think was his contract. And he was reported to give up most of it to go back to Europe because that's where he wants to be.
Yes.
For those unaware of Vasile Misic's things, he was a strong EuroLeague player.
Yep.
Very, very strong EuroLeague player.
Not as strong here.
Was heralded as like, okay, this is going to be a guy who's going to do well in the NBA. Did not really work out too well for him. And went to OKC and then was just kind of bounced around.
Ended up in Charlotte, which kind of tells the story. If you end up in Charlotte, things aren't going great for your career historically.
Well, Charlotte, then the Suns back to Charlotte.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So we don't have the number yet. So I will say the one precedent when Sasha Vesnikov, who was going to be like EU KD, came over, wanted to go back. He gave up all of his remaining money to the Kings, I believe, to go back to the EuroLeague. That would sure be nice, but I believe Micic had to give up at least like $6 million of the 8.1 for this to work for the Bucks. We will see what he did, but good news to hear that's officially agreed upon. Although again, I think we kind of knew it had to be for the Turner thing to happen, but whatever. Regardless, the buyout with Micic is done.
Yeah. That's good. And again, the Bucks are being nice to us. We're getting these things as we're recording.
I'll take some more. Let's do a trade.
They're probably like, they usually record earlier than this. Let's push it to the afternoon. We got you this time, buddy.
So let me ask you this: who would you want the Bucks to sign out of all the players currently available? Or you can include Cole Anthony if you want. Or Beal. Okay, that's 14. What about with spot 15? I was ready for that.
Okay.
Actually, that doesn't include Bogolyub.
Ooh.
So Bogolyub is not rostered. They just have his draft rights. So that would be 14 if you want Bogolyub.
So 14 includes Bogolyub?
The 13 without counting Bogolyub, yeah.
Okay. So Thanasis 1. And then, honestly, with Rollins coming back, you need some... I might be on the Amir Coffey train.
I like Amir Coffey. I'm seeing some Caleb Houston buzz that I find very intriguing.
If you think it's bad that AJ Green hasn't dunked, look, pay attention to Caleb Houston.
You know what? I could get over it. If he comes and defends and hits threes. Oh man, more buzz. I shouldn't say what I just read before the fact. It's not looking good for Beal to Milwaukee.
That's what I felt.
I think that's becoming consensus. I also don't think Chris Paul is coming. Conspiracy tie when the Rollins deal was announced was like, oh, that probably means Chris Paul isn't coming. And that could be the Bucks deciding to do it that way. That could also be Rollins' team. Like, maybe we don't want our guy to try and make himself an NBA player as the third point guard on the Bucks. Now, you could say, hey, he wouldn't be the third best. And I'd say maybe you're right. But they prioritized KPJ. And if they also brought in CP3 to play, presumably, I would imagine there's not a ton of minutes left for Rollins.
No, 100%. It's crazy that Ryan Rollins got a bigger contract than Gary Trent Jr.
Almost everyone got a bigger contract than Gary Trent Jr.
That's crazy. Except for Torian Prince.
except for Torian Prince
Torian Prince did not.
and
You know what?
Jericho
I think
Sims.
that's okay. And Jericho, I think that's okay.
Yeah, that is okay. Yeah,
But
Rollins is.
I guess to answer your question, I would say Thanasis and Amir Coffee. What I was talking about earlier with Tyler Smith and like the logjam, and it's like, is he going to play the three? I'm kind of at the point where I guess it depends on what happens with Summer League.
Big Summer League coming up. Big Summer League.
If Bogey shows me something, I'm going to say Bogey.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's Amir Coffee.
I like that. Yeah.
Or I can completely shift this around and free us another roster spot. Apparently, Joe Prunty is going to the Orlando Magic as an assistant coach, which leaves an assistant coaching spot open. Maybe. Unless the Bucks are actually consolidating for once.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to be lead assistant, so it was a promotion anyway, but I do kind of feel like they just have had too many coaches, so it makes sense to let one go. There is interest in Darvin Ham to be a lead assistant elsewhere, but he is a lead assistant, so the Bucks are blocking that. They're saying, no, we're keeping Darvin for the vibes, which I think is a good call. Yeah.
Maybe we should shake some things up.
I mean, I've talked at length about the change in defensive coordinator. I think that would be where I'd want to shake more than old
Plus,
Darvin.
you got to get that NBA Cup, go back to back. First back-to-back NBA Cup champion.
I mean, are you trying to lose Torian Prince, Rohan?
That's fair. That's fair.
He's waiting to sign.
So I guess he is Big Spoon.
He's waiting to sign. He's like, hey, I heard Darvin has some interest. I'm not going to put pen to paper quite yet, actually. I need to see how this develops.
I might be headed to Orlando.
Might be heading to. I think LA was one of the. There's a couple places that had interest.
Not Orlando. He's followed Joe Prunty.
I would follow the Prunt dog. He knows how to draw up a play.
Oh yeah, but so maybe Thanasis becomes an assistant coach. That frees you up another.
I would love that. No update on Thanasis lately.
No, we didn't get anything during that live show.
No, they probably will wait a while to post. I think those things have to get pretty edited up. Generally.
Plus, no, I think they were who's the Euro League reporter, the Greek reporter?
Paris Stavro.
Yes, thank you. I apologize for not remembering. He had tweeted something about how they were not talking about NBA business.
Yeah, it seemed like it was more like their stuff, and might have been in Greek.
Because I think the Turner news dropped as it was happening, or right before.
I think the Dame thing had just come out like a day or two before, so it makes sense to just ignore it. Last thing here. Are there any trades? Kuzma, it pretty much has to be Kuzma now. That's the thing. They've pretty much either traded or waived everyone else they could possibly trade.
Yeah.
Literally, the only players they could trade at this moment are Kyle Kuzma, Giannis, we'll ignore that one, Kuzma, AJ Green, Andre Jackson Jr., Tyler Smith. Those are their only remaining players under contract. Everyone else is freshly re-signing or signing.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to trade AJ Green, Giannis.
No.
Maybe Ajax, who knows? Maybe he's included.
Yeah.
But a Kyle Kuzma trade, the one we were talking about is Colin Sexton. And how do we feel about that now?
Hornets signed a couple of point guards. I think that's on the table.
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility.
No, they signed Trey Mann and Trey Jones. Trey Mann. Trey Mann. Trey Jones is Chicago. They signed Trey Mann, and they signed, I forget who else. They added another veteran point guard.
Dinwiddie.
Yes. Which I was like, a lot of point guards. They also have this guy named LaMelo Ball. Something to monitor. I guess Sexton could play the 2 a little bit. Maybe they'll just do that. But I'd keep my eye on that. I don't think they're super attached to Sexton. They got paid to take him, which generally means you don't love the player for the most part. You had to get paid to take him. Or it's just a good deal. But I would watch him.
I think they got a good deal based on what we were talking about with
They got a great deal. They got a really good deal. I would watch RJ Barrett, just a name who's been out there.
That's the name I was about to bring up. Yep.
I really like that fit too. I mentioned I was getting talked down, but I like the idea of Barrett. I think there's real potential on both ends. Younger player, more of a 3-size player.
Shorter.
In a good way. Than Kuz. Shorter than Kuzma, not shorter than the average player. Maybe a little, probably a little, technically. Malik Monk is super available.
No.
I don't know if I'd trade Kuzma for him. If Kuzma's not a 3, he's definitely not. Yeah.
He is 100% not a 3.
No.
I don't know. If I was feeling iffy about Beal, I am completely out on Monk.
Well, yeah, because Beal's just a vet min. Now you have Monk on whatever it is, 18 mil, 17 mil a year.
Yeah. To
I
do
did
what?
so apparently
I think Gary might be better now.
Monk's a better ball handler, but I mean they're trying to dump him for a reason, right? So Sam Vecini said something interesting, and I saw this transcribed. So apologies if Sam didn't say this on the Great Game Theory podcast, also at Blue Wire. That they're trying to do the Kuminga thing. The Warriors are playing it tough. They could say to the Warriors, "Well, fine then. We'll go trade Malik Monk for Kyle Kuzma, who our past regime, who some people are still there, have liked before." I was like, "Yeah, they should. They should. They should say that. They should say that." But I was like, "I don't really want Monk." But what if it's a 3-team? Monk goes to the Raptors, who save a lot of money on Kuzma and get some more ball handling. Then Barrett comes to the Bucks, and Kuzma goes to the Kings.
Yeah, there'd probably have to be some draft assets from Milwaukee somewhere in there.
Are the Kings marks? I think probably they are. So
100%.
I don't
think
know.
it's to Toronto. I think it's to be clear. I think in that equation, it's to Toronto,
Well,
not to
hey,
the Sacramento Kings.
we do see teams change their one. They got rid of Masai. They love
GM is still in place.
They love mediocre players. They just extended Pirtle again, and it's a tax ducking thing
To the
for
same
them.
contract as I think it's $2 million less than Turner. By the way,
Yeah, crazy.
insane.
For a guy who does not fit with any of their and they love non-shooters, so maybe they just take Kuzma straight up. But they save a lot of money.
They might give the Bucks a draft pick.
They might. It's like $8 million, I think, between Monk and Barrett. So I think that might get them out of the tax, and there's real value in that too. I don't know. Just something I threw out there.
I think it's very intriguing. I think Barrett's like still a good name to watch.
Yeah.
This is gonna sound terrible.
Oh.
And I even hate saying it.
Oh, I can't wait.
There's some sort of sign and trade with the Bulls for Giddey.
Oh no. No. Why? What? You want that?
If you want a big ball in.
No, I don't. I don't want Giddey handling big balls anywhere near our community, Rohan. I don't want that. I'm good.
Yeah. It didn't feel good coming saying
No, it shouldn't have. The restricted free agents are in hell, by the way. Nothing with him.
So bad.
Kuminga,
they should be allowed to punch CJ McCollum once.
I also heard a good proposal that if the teams take, Bobby Marks said this actually, if the teams take too long into July, they should lose the right of first refusal, because it is pretty. I mean, these guys are screwed, right? Only the Nets had cap space. They're not signing anyone. If you sign an MLE offer sheet, the team's just going to match. It's way under your market value. So it's either a sign and trade or just you kind of get screwed. So unlike Turner, who was able to leave and come to the Bucks and kind of surprise the Pacers after they clearly lowballed him, I believe it was said today that, again by Tony East, that it seems like they didn't know until the Shams report came out that Turner was signing with the Bucks, which I find very funny. But these guys don't have that option. They can't just go sneakily make a deal. It's all restricted. So Giddey, Quentin Grimes, Jonathan Kuminga, and there's one I'm forgetting, are all just pretty much stuck.
Yeah.
Oh, Cam Thomas.
Oh yeah, Cam Thomas. That's the one.
I'd be more interested in a Cam Thomas sign and trade. No, he's restricted.
Oh, okay.
Be interested in a Cam Thomas sign and trade.
I wouldn't hate that.
You have to give up your first or a swap.
Will you take Kevin Porter Jr.?
They can't do it now.
Will you wait until just before camp and then take Kevin Porter Jr.?
No, I think it'd have to be until December.
Oh, it's just December.
Yeah, it'd be December.
It's December something. We wait until December and then take Kevin Porter Jr.
No, it's tough for those players. I don't think the Bucks are really in play for any of them. It'd be like a sign and trade for Kuzma, and the Bucks probably throw in a pick. I'm good on Kuminga personally. I don't like the fit at all. I would take Grimes, but there's no way Philly's doing that. I don't think.
I don't know. Kyle Lowry's back. Maybe they really like VJ Edgecombe. Maybe they think he could play right away.
The problem is they also need to somewhat like Kyle Kuzma. That's where the issue comes into play.
Yeah, that's the issue with every single one of these Kuzma
I know. This shred of info about the Kings at one point in an old regime liking him, I'm like, it's got to be the Kings. Come on, Kings. Involve the Bucks in your trade.
Yeah, but I guess some free agents who are kind of out there still, like Brogdon, we're both out on.
Yeah. I wouldn't play him over any of their 4 to 5 if you count Harris guards right now.
Yeah, no Bol. He's just bad.
Yeah.
Is Bol gonna get an NBA deal?
I think he would be a really big name in China.
Yeah. I don't know. Seth Curry? Does he do anything for you?
No. It'd have to be a 3 for me. I don't unless it was like Chris Paul, but otherwise none of the veteran guards really move me. Or
Boss
Beal.
man set up the fight?
No. No. No, I don't think so, actually. Maybe like the younger guys, like Kessler Edwards. I think shot 40%
I was actually about to say Kessler Edwards.
Kessler Edwards, I'm into. Brandon Boston. Like, give me one of these guys who, like, maybe they're a good player. We just don't know yet. Oh, also, Antonio Reeves from the Pelicans. He had a pretty good year. Oh, people will be mad if we don't. Yeah, they should try to fleece the Pelicans for sure.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about trade candidates. I mean, you have to try.
There's no way they can get Trey Murphy. But, I mean, who knows? Like, who knows?
I don't know.
If Troy Weaver and Joe Dumars love Kyle Kuzma, they'll give you anything.
Flint, Michigan is not that far from the DMV area.
No.
It's not that close, but it's not that far. And he played in DC. He played in DC. He had a house in DC.
It's closer than New Orleans.
Yes. I don't know where Trey Murphy's from, but if Trey Murphy's from Maryland, we're cooked.
No, yeah, it's over. But I don't know. Like, maybe some of these guys could become
North Carolina.
Oh, that's closer.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, it's closer. Some of these guys who are young free agents could potentially be two-way candidates depending on summer league as well. Like, what if they don't like what they see out of Jamari Bouye and Pete Nance, as much as it just feels wrong to say, they can just replace them.
It's a competitive landscape.
Like, is Jared? What's the rule on two-way eligibility, Ty?
I think you have to have less than 4 years of NBA experience.
Dang it.
What are you looking at?
Jared Butler is at 4 years.
Oh, yeah. I think he's probably ineligible now.
So it just makes it a little interesting. Like, can you sign someone young and take a flyer? Like the Ryan Rollins, AJ Green route.
Yeah.
Jalen Hood-Schifino.
He seems bad. I'm interested in
we could finally get Christian Koloko.
Oh, wow. I thought they were bringing him back. I guess they have Ayton now. Yeah, I mean, Koloko would be a good two-way. I think he's still eligible. Otherwise, like Boston, Kessler Edwards, Caleb Houston, or Antonio Reeves. Like, yeah, that'd be a fun flyer if you just have nothing else to do with a roster spot.
Yeah. EJ Liddell. Remember the EJ Liddell Christian Koloko debates we had?
I loved him. Bring in both. Non-guaranteed deals. Let them battle it out.
Yeah, why not? Imani Bates?
I'm good there.
Still only 21 years old.
6'8".
I'm also good there too.
All he does is score, but yeah. No, I think we're both good there. What was I just going to say?
MarJon.
Oh, MarJon. He's ready now. He just needed some more seasoning. Crazy. He was on a two-way last year.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's eligible anymore, but...
He's still 3 years of experience, I think?
Yeah, I suppose so. He must be. Do you think they make another splashy move? And I will say, to define it, trading Kuzma or Beal, Chris Paul. I think Cole Anthony to me is not quite, I would not say splashy. It feels less likely now as well. So Chris Paul, Beal, a different, I guess, buyout, which I don't think there's any more really coming that matter, or trading Kuzma.
I genuinely think that here's the thing. I think they're going to try their hardest to trade Kuzma.
Yeah.
I'll say that. So I guess that makes it kind of likely.
Yeah. I think I agree.
Otherwise, you're just too run it back.
Yeah, I mean...
It messes up the entire team dynamic, as I was talking about.
Yeah, listen, I think they're going to pitch him as being a 3. We don't really think he is. Maybe like,
you don't need to pitch him. You played him as a 3.
Yeah, but you played him with Taurean Prince at the 2 and Brook Lopez at the 5. It's a different team around him. It's a more athletic team. Maybe that vision could work with more mobility around him. I think that's the way the Bucks would pitch it. I think they would absolutely upgrade if they could, or just upgrade fit, if anything else. I mean, the fact that they've been in on Kuminga implies they're willing to trade Kuzma, because that's the only way. Now, at this point, that's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
So
I'd be really upset with Kuminga, by the way.
if it's just for Kuzma, fine, but I wouldn't give up a pick.
No. If you give up a pick, it's a disaster.
That's what it would take. I mean, the Warriors are looking to be compensated here.
You just don't have Jonathan Kuminga on your team.
Just renounce him.
Just mid for mid swap. I guess the Bucks technically win that trade because you just
Depends on the contract. Depends on the contract.
Yeah.
There's a base year compensation thing with him too. It gets a little funky with the cap dynamics. It's just kind of a mess, to be honest. I'm just good.
Yeah. I'm out. Unless it's for like an actual legit wing, that's what the Bucks need to do for Kyle Kuzma.
I saw a report today the DeRozan market is dead. DEAD dead. I'm still into that.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of into that.
So KPJ / Rollins, Gary, DeRozan, Giannis, Myles Turner.
How much does DeRozan make? I thought he made too much.
No, it's Levine makes too much. DeRozan Kuzma works 1-for-1.
Oh, does it? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I forget who makes more.
It's also kind of tough now that you bought out Micic already, because it's like that's not someone you can include in trade if you wanted to get like an Andrew Wiggins or something like that.
I think they could do the salary rules are very lax now. I think they could do Wiggins for.
Yeah, I forget again. I keep forgetting the Bucks don't.
Let me look it up. Let me tell you, because it's actually shocking how much it is. Traded play. Let me look at this quickly.
Yeah, DeRozan's only 24,750 this
So
year.
it's a little more, but again, they're well below the tax, and they can do that 1-for-1.
Is it within like 10% or something?
200% of the outgoing salary.
200.
Or the outgoing salary plus 7.5 million. So for Kuzma, it would be that, but that still is, what is the salary? 22 mil, so it's about 30 million they could bring back.
Wow. And they're well below their hard cap. So.
Oh, actually, it's more than that now. That number goes up the same amount as the cap each year.
Yeah, Kuzma's at 22,410.
Yeah, so like 30 mil. So Levine too much, and they can't get there anymore. But DeRozan, RJ Barrett are some guys who they could just take back straight up. Malik Monk, who makes less. Wiggins, who, yeah, I mean, again, the Heat now are barely in the tax. They're going to want to get out of that. Like, I don't think they would do Wiggins for Kuzma. I wouldn't throw in a first. The other thing is all they have are firsts, the 31 pick and the 32 swap. They gave up their last seconds. Technically, I think they have a fake one from Utah, but I don't think they have any real second-round picks to send.
Yeah. So maybe we don't see a trade. Maybe that's... Otherwise, John Horst will have nothing to do with the trade deadline. He'll just be twiddling his thumbs. It's just like...
Well, everyone becomes trade eligible by then. He'll find something.
Yeah, he always does something, but he likes to make like one splashy move at the deadline. He's like, you know what? I got a splashy move in free agency, and it's time to evaluate what we have first, right? Let's see how everyone fits. No Dame, you have Myles Turner. Yeah. Let's see what we got.
I'll say 60-40 that something else moves us. They're very aggressive. I will say I don't think the goal for Horster and the Bucks right now is like, sign Bogolyub and Thanasis and be done. They're clearly trying everywhere they can. They're linked to CP3. They're linked to Kuminga. They're linked to Beal. They're linked to Brogdon. Like, they're all over the place right now. The Brogdon one's obviously not as fun. But I think they're turning over every stone. I think it's very clear to them. They're probably one impact offensive player away. They could use some defense too, but definitely one more shot creator, and then see how the defense looks with your various pieces.
Yeah. Yeah, I think 60-40 is a good way to put it. I'll say I'll say 55-45.
Okay, sure. Price has righted me.
Yeah. I'll say that. I'll go closer to even, but it's gonna be there's still room to do things.
I'm actually pretty excited. I know it's run it back E right now, but this Turner thing changes the floor dynamics. And if we're starting the year with the point guards are Rollins and KPJ, and the two guards are Trent and Green, They're just in a much better spot in terms of defense and athleticism starting the year. And I'm excited to see what that looks like for them for like a whole season. Like, what can they do defensively, and how different does the floor look when you don't have ISO scorers and you don't have old guys? But you remember, they started last season, it was like Dame, Trent, Chris, Giannis, Brooke. And while, yes, the talent sounds better, certainly the athleticism and defense is a lot worse in that five.
Yeah, 100%. You can actually go jumbo lineups here, and it works now.
Kuzma at the 3.
We'll see.
Right now, I think they would start. If Doc had a game today, I think it would be KPJ, Trent, Kuzma, Giannis, Turner, and I'd be into seeing how that team looked.
I think I'd rather see KPJ from Doc's perspective. That's not my final. KPJ, Trent, Prince, Giannis, Turner.
I think the best lineup would be Rollins, Trent, Green, Giannis, Turner, personally.
Yeah. But I think so too.
I don't think he would start that. But I'm interested in all of these lineups. I really am.
Look at the Bucks. Maybe being able to do things.
They're sucking us back in.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. The Bucks play their first game of Summer League
Thursday night.
Yeah, July 10th against 10th against the Denver Nuggets. 8:30 Central. If you're going to Summer League, let us know. Take some fun. Ask around. See what's happening. Get the info.
Find Doc and talk to him for 5 minutes, and he'll probably tell you news. Then relay that to us, and we'll share it. I don't think Denver used a pick in this draft, so really exciting Summer League team.
It was last year during Summer League where we got the Chris surgery announcement where Doc's like, yeah, he had double ankle surgery, and we're like, what? Wait, what happened?
Find whatever game PJ Carlissimo is broadcasting, Doc is going to show up and break news. That's the precedent.
Yep, it's going to happen. It's guaranteed. It's probably going to be...
Heard legend Ibu Baji is on the Denver Nuggets Summer League team.
Oh, look at that.
Boo Booey. Nice. Deron Holmes, that'll be fun. EJ Liddell. That's about it. Not a star-studded Summer League team, but I can't wait.
It's gonna be fun to see. It's fun to see NBA basketball and Bucks basketball. No matter what is happening. The Nuggets have the other Jalen Williams. Because there's a third Jalen Williams.
Oh, the other Jalen Williams. I don't see him on their Summer League team. Or you mean on their team?
Summer League.
I see Donovan Williams.
Am I tripping? Oh, this was last year. Yep. What am I doing?
Also, the oldest player on this team was born in '99, so I'm gonna go collapse into dust now. The old guy on the team was not. There's a couple of them.
That's insane.
Jeez.
It's time for me to collapse into dust too.
Ancient Tyrell Harrison, 7'1" center from Brisbane. July 6th. Oh, happy belated birthday. 99.
And that's the oldest guy on the roster?
Yeah. One of them.
Yeah. We're both done. We're out of here.
I think, he's the oldest. July 99 is the oldest.
Because I am also July 99.
So yeah, you and this guy. Tyrell.
It's just me and Ty's. They get along.
Yeah. Start a podcast with this guy.
Why? Are you trying to get rid of me? Is that what you're saying?
No. Just feel like, I don't know. It just felt like a natural progression. That's all. I want you here.
Natural progression is going from you to this guy from Australia just because we're both born in the same month.
Just you and a guy named Ties. You start a podcast. Yeah. That's all I meant. That's it. Don't leave me for Big Ty.
But you're big time Ty, so we got that.
Oh, true.
It's even better. Not to. What was this guy's name?
Not to denigrate this guy whose name I don't know. Tyrell Harrison.
Not to denigrate Tyrell Harris. I don't think he's going to be a very good podcaster with me.
You're writing him
because
off.
the bar is set so high with you.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I appreciate that.
I have no idea what this guy's skill is, but it's not very likely that he's going to be as good as you, Ty.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah. And on that note, we'll wrap this up. Say thank you for listening to this episode of the Gyro Step here on Blue Wire and GSPN, presented by our amazing friends over at PrizePicks. If you missed earlier on this feed, not on your podcast platform of choice, not on YouTube, there's a Win in Six episode up talking about Jordan Tresky and his new book, which is available. Everyone should go buy. Have you gotten your copy yet?
No,
it's still waiting,
I gotta go check. I thought Bezos's machine was going to get it to me early, but I have not received it yet. But I'm very excited. You've got yours, right?
I do. It's just far away right now.
Okay, well, fair. Yeah.
But make sure you listen to that and get all the details and order Jordan's book, which is incredible and just a testament of so much hard work that our friend has put in.
Building the Milwaukee Bucks, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Oscar Robertson, and the rapid rise of an NBA franchise. That's the
it's probably good
official title. Yeah, just go buy the book. Everyone knows the book, but in case you didn't, it's called Building the Milwaukee Bucks.
Even if you don't, you should buy the book anyway.
Go buy Building the Milwaukee Bucks, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Oscar Robertson, and the rapid rise of an NBA franchise. Find it on Amazon or wherever you get your books, or go follow at Jordan Tresky on Twitter, and he is sharing out the link, of course, there as well.
Yeah. So make sure you go support that, buy that, and listen to the episode before this one. But make sure you subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast or watching podcast platform of choice. YouTube, 5-star rating and review, engage in the comments, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Pod random. We'll talk to you next time.